Hi everyone, this is Massimo Bottura and this is Why Waste with Fine Dining Lovers. Did you know that 1 billion tons of food is wasted every year? Where we waste the most is in our home. So that's why we want to teach you how not waste food. When you see leftover, I see a potential to create something special. I involve my team and we're gonna take surplus food and we're gonna transform in something super delicious. I love, this is one of my favorite crispy fried chicken ever.
Look at this.
No, but the smell is just amazing. I'm enjoying my macaroni pie. So good, so good. Stay connected because through knowledge, consciousness, sense of responsibility, using a little bit of creativity, we can make and we can change the world because we are the revolution. Look, we are here with a beautiful piece of fassona meat, and this is the best part, like the fat part. We all know that the best part is the fat part, but we all think we can throw it away. We have to throw it away. But today, I'm here with our chef, Jessica Rosval from Casa Maria Luigia, our super chef. So what we can do with the fat that we have here?
Great point, because we talk so much about making bone broth and using tough cuts, but nobody talks about what to do with the fat. So I'm gonna show you how to process the fat to extract all of the flavor and also give some tips as to what you can then do to incorporate that into future meals.
Good, let's do it. Very good idea, very, very good idea. Let's move on.
Often you go to the butcher and you'll order a piece of meat. The butcher will look at you and say, "Can I clean that for you?" Of course we'll say yes, but you're paying for that fat that they're gonna be trimming off. So take it home with you. What I have for you right now is a beef brisket. This is an example of a meat that you might purchase from the butcher that will have to be cleaned of a lot of its excess fat. I'm gonna show you what that fat is, how to clean it, and then also how to render it off. What I'm doing here is just sliding the knife under the hard fat. When you have your piece of meat, touch it. Where the fat is soft, you can leave it. Where the fat feels very hard, you want to take that off because it won't cook down. Once you have all your fat, put it onto a cutting board and cut it into some large pieces. We're then going to put those pieces into a pot and add rosemary and garlic. I'm gonna turn it on to low heat and add a little bit of water just to cover the base of the pot up to 1 centimeter. We're gonna let this go for about 3 hours, stirring occasionally. All of the little meaty bits and the silver skin become crispy and brown. This is something that I'm showing you with beef fat, but don't be afraid to try this with the fat from any other animal, chicken or pork as well. Right now, this has been going for about 3 hours. During the cooking process, I noticed that the rosemary was becoming overcooked. So I pulled it out and I added in some fresh twigs of rosemary. I did the same thing with the garlic as well. That's gonna always keep your flavors really fresh and again, not burn your herbs and not impart any of those bitter flavors into the fat. We're ready to strain. Here I've already prepared a sieve and I've just lined it with a piece of regular kitchen paper. This is going to allow us to get a really fine filter and take out any of those small impurities that might have been extracted from the meat into the fat. After you've rendered off specifically beef, I don't recommend that you eat the little parts left over. But if you do this, for example, with pork, then what's left in the pot is actually a traditional Emilian preparation called ciccioli, and they're actually quite delicious. This fat can be closed and stored in your fridge for up to 12 months. You can use it for so many different things. Anywhere that you would typically use butter or any other kinds of vegetable shortening, you can replace that with this super seasoned and flavorful beef fat. My favorite thing to do with this is roasted potatoes. It will bring them to a whole new level. Once at room temperature, I'll close it up, store it in the fridge, and keep it for 12 months.
Did you know that 20% of the meat and 35% of the fish that we fish are wasted? Can you believe that? My team today is gonna teach you the tips to store the food correctly. To me, leftover meat is ragu, you know, ragu of everything. Everything is the most powerful word, you know. I open the refrigerator, there's everything there. And those are opportunities to create something amazing. So, show me the way.
Okay, I have an idea. Why don't we take first the fat that we're gonna render from our beef brisket? We're gonna use that fat to make a really flaky dough. That flaky dough we can then stuff with a mix of the leftover smoked brisket, and then let's just open the pantry. Let's see what we have in there to flavor it. We've made some beautiful contemporary empanadas filled with apricots, almonds, cumin spices.
Empanadas as a container of ideas. It's like a ravioli, a tortellini. Every single pasta or preparation with the filling inside, it's up to you. It's your idea, it's your leftover, it's your way to imagine the food you wanna eat, the flavor you wanna eat. So travel with your mind and fill this empanada with your emotions. So that's the way.
For the flaky pastry, you'll need 250 grams of all-purpose flour, 6 grams of turmeric powder, 6 grams of kosher salt, 140 grams of your beef fat, 90 grams of ice-cold water. In a standing mixer attached with the leaf, I'm gonna be mixing all of the dry ingredients together. Your flour, your turmeric powder, and your salt in the bowl. We're gonna start mixing at a very slow speed because we want it to come out almost as like a sandy texture. This is what the dough should look like when you stop mixing the fat with the flour. Now it's time for the ice-cold water. Now our dough is done. We're gonna put it away in a biodegradable bag and let it rest in the fridge for 30 minutes. For the meat filling, you will need 400 grams of leftover smoked brisket, 70 grams of dried apricots, 50 grams of toasted almonds, a handful of chopped parsley, 5 grams of cumin, garlic, and a little bit of oil, 10 grams of broth or water, salt and pepper to taste. Today, I personally have in my fridge some leftover smoked brisket. But look at what's in your fridge because this filling is really open for all the different interpretations that you could possibly think of. I'm first gonna take this leftover beef brisket and I'm gonna cut it up into very small pieces. Make sure that any of the gelatin or fat that you see in the meat, keep that. It's full of flavor. Okay, time to cook the filling. We're gonna first turn our pan onto a medium heat and we're gonna start with our garlic and a little bit of oil. You're gonna hear the garlic start to cook and you're gonna smell the perfume of it. That's when you know it's time to add the meat. At this point, we're also gonna add the apricots. It's great to get them going at the beginning of the recipe. That way they really soften up and take on a lot of the flavor from the beef. Now time for our cumin. Now time for broth. Turn your heat down to low and just let this simmer. The meat is gonna soften up perfectly. So now I'm just adding a pinch of salt, some freshly ground pepper, some toasted almonds for crunch, and some fresh chopped parsley. Now our filling is done. We're ready to transfer it to a bowl and let it cool down. Okay, here I have a rolling board. You can do this right on your countertop at home. We're gonna take our chilled dough out of the fridge. We're gonna roll it out using a little bit of flour to help prevent it from sticking to our tabletop. So we're not gonna roll this out too thin. You wanna make sure that your dough is at a thickness of about 2 millimeters. Any thinner and it's not gonna hold the filling. Any thicker and the whole thing won't be proportionate. So here I have some shapes ready. I'm gonna take our cooled down filling and I'm just gonna squish it a little bit in my hands. I wanna compact it so it doesn't get in the way of when we're closing the dough. We're just gonna pop a little piece on the top of each one. At this point, on the side, I've prepared a very traditional egg wash. This is just one egg with a little bit of milk in it. It's been whisked, and I'm gonna use it to help close the dough. I'm gonna brush a small amount just on the top half of the circle. Now it's time to close them. So here's a quick tip for you. Hold the dough with your index finger and your thumb. With my other fingers, I'm pushing the meat lightly backwards. This is gonna help us keep a nice shape of this empanada as we fold it. We're very simply just gonna take a fork and press down the outer edge of each empanada. So here we are. Now it's very gently placing them on a tray, lined with parchment paper. We're gonna take our egg wash again and just lightly brush the tops of each one. This again is gonna give it that really beautiful golden color and it'll give it a great consistency on the outside as well. Now it's time to put them in the oven. I have it set at 180 degrees Celsius. We're gonna put them in for about 10 to 12 minutes or until they get nice and golden brown on the outside. So now our empanadas are baking off in the oven. We have a little bit of extra time. So why don't we think about a quick sauce that we can make? Something that's really easy. If you happen to have some yogurt kicking around, I'm gonna show you how to transform it into a really nice savory sauce that goes with so many different preparations. So here I have my very plain yogurt. I'm gonna add just a pinch of cumin, a pinch of paprika. I have a little bit of garlic, half of a lemon zest, a little bit of parsley, some salt, and there we have it. How fast was that? In less than 1 minute, you have a super fresh and very flavorful sauce to accompany a whole bunch of different dishes. Okay, it's time. The empanadas are ready. Let's pull them out of the oven. Ooh, smells good. Time to plate it up. Let's make it look beautiful because I have a very special guest coming tonight to try them. So this is another very simple trick to add a lot of freshness to your dish. I had a whole bunch of different herbs, some growing outside, some in the fridge from before. I've picked them, lightly seasoned them with some olive oil, and we're just gonna top the empanadas with these herbs.
Hey guys, I'm sneaking in. So what have you done? Empanadas. Wow, I want to taste. Ooh, smokiness. I love it. I'm gonna do this. This is the Blues barbecue that traveled to South America, back to Mediterranean, right in my palate. So good, so good. But the pasta is amazing. As I said, you always keep a door open for the unexpected. This is the way you have to think. You have to open your mind, imagine the scenario, and boom, right to your idea. That's what it is. And this is empanada. It's outrageous. I'm gonna finish. Sorry. I love it. I love it. Did you know that there are almost 800 million people that don't have anything to eat? This is why me and my wife Lara create Food for Soul, a no-profit organization to fight food waste and social isolation. Through what? Through beauty, because beauty will change the world. This project is about sharing, because it's a cultural project, it's not charity. One of the UN goals is to have food waste in the globe by 2030. This is not gonna happen if we are not all involved in this, all together in this amazing project. Why waste? Hey guys, share your creation now on Fine Dining Lovers, #Why Waste. You have to do it. I've been watching you.